TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Memories of working with Abdullah Butcher. Abby.
Abby's a good guy. He, like I said, there's a lot of characters in this business, and he's one of the best. As far as a big man like that, 455, 500 pounds, he can move. He can move, and he's there for you all the time. He'd never leave you stranded.
Now, I believe you also worked for Bill Watts.
Yeah.
In South Territory.
Bill Watts, that's where I really met Buzz Sawyer. Bill Watts was up and up until the end. Bill Watts, as far as business-wise, to me, he was one of the smartest men out there because he knew when it was time to get out, and he did. He stole the territory from a blind man, but
Right.
that was McGurk. He stole the territory from him, but he knew when to do it.
What is he like as a boss and booker?
He had a little bit of an ego, and his kid did too, but he wasn't bad. He'd tell you like it was, like what he wanted. And he did have the power to back it up, and he did.
This kid meaning Eric Watts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as a booker, I mean, what are your thoughts on him as a booker? Do you think he was tough on the guys? Because I heard, he'd fine everybody if they were late.
Yeah. I never got fined. I did my job. What I was supposed to do, I did. He made a few promises as far as money-wise, and that's always a big issue when you talk about promoting and booking and stuff like that, is money-wise. The money wasn't there, and I wasn't going to stay around for it. I got my paycheck one day on TV, and I left. By the time I got home, he sent messages to send me back. He gave my guarantee, and I worked through another couple months before I quit again.
What was the road schedule like for UWF?
That's where you did a lot of travel. You do a lot of travel there. And then that was your 3,000 miles a week.
And I believe you had a program, I guess, with Wendell Cooley. Or did you actually team with him?
I teamed with him, right? Yeah, I was teaming with Wendell.
And you worked against Dibiase and Steve Williams?
Yeah.
A lot. What was that like?
Wendell, as far as a partner, he wasn't bad. He had an ego. He was a real big ego, and he didn't want to do a lot of things. And I would do it, and that's where Brody taught me too. He says, you need to take care of yourself better than what you do, because promoter doesn't care who's doing the job as long as it gets done. Steve Williams, good guy, hardcore. Ted DiBiase the same way.
No, I think it was when you guys won the belts, you wound up working against Bob Sweet and Steve Williams instead of DiBiase. Why was that? Do you know? Or?
Nah, I don't remember why. I don't remember why it didn't work that way.
As champions, was there pressure on you guys from Bill Watts or less pressure?
Bill Watts had a plan to make us like, can't even think of what the names were. Ricky.
Rock and Roll Express?
Rock and Roll Express. And at 160 pound guys, 240 can't do what they do doing. They're up and down the flying and stuff. They're going to get that out of 240s, stuff like that.
Did he understand that, or do you think he still expected you guys?
Yeah, well, no, he understood it, but there was no way we were going to do it. And you don't take out the Rock and Roll Express and bring in some two guys that you just threw together and say, hey, that's our new Rock and Roll Express.
Right.
He tried to pull it, but it didn't fly.
Thoughts on working with Bill Dundee and Dutch Mantel?
I had a few matches with them. I didn't have that many. Dutch Mantel, I met him a few times and worked with him a few times, but never really cared for it.
So, how about Tom Prichard? Well, getting back to Dutch, as far as working with him, you didn't care for him?
Yeah, working with him, he had his own style. Everybody's style. He was more of a Tennessee style.
Old school.
Yeah, old school. And like I said, I was from the old school, pretty much the old school. But the Tennessee style that, I didn't make it in Tennessee either. I wrestled there one time for
Jarrett.
And didn't last.
What was that like down there?
You want to talk about your cartoon characters? That's the place to be, Tennessee. I got there. I was supposed to have a match with Jerry Lawler. They flew me in just for one shot.
Right.
I come in there, and they ended up changing everything in the dressing room. And it was going to be a tag match. It was me and Star against Jerry Lawler, and they didn't say who. Well, I get to the ring. Star gets to the ring, and I do my own thing. I always pace back and forth throughout the ring, my low spots, high spots. Here comes Jerry Lawler, and I'm ready to go. And behind him was Freddy Krueger. Star took off she jumped out of the ring. Lawler jumped out of the ring. Freddy Krueger comes into me, and I was like, back off. He's hollering, get out, get out, get out. I never ran from anybody in the ring, but I just ducked out underneath the ropes. Back off, back off. Well, Jerry knew right then that it wasn't going to fly because I'm there to wrestle. To me, it's still a sport, and that's the old school, and that's how I was taught. Well, every time I got in the ring, Jerry was in the ring because they wouldn't put us in there. After the match, I don't remember the outcome, but after the match, went back to the locker room, and there was money being passed around. I forgot who it was that won it, said that I wouldn't do it with Krueger, and I didn't. So one of the boys was a winner of about $50.
Who was Freddie? Was it Doug Gilbert at the time? Or?
Yeah. It was Tommy Gilbert.
Tommy, okay. Tom Prichard, you worked with him as well.
I worked with Tom Prichard a few times. I had some good matches with him. He was a good guy to work. He was old school. He was a good guy to work with.
Now, did things change at all when Eddie Gilbert came into Milwaukee's territory?
Not really. It was the same. Eddie Gilbert was all right. He was a good guy too. He could do a lot too in the ring. He was up and up. A little bit smaller guy than me, but he was up and up in that ring.
Thoughts on working with Tony Atlas?
Tony was a good worker when he wanted to. I had a few matches with him where, I was your champion down there, and I'd hit him, and he would just like shake it off like nothing. And I'd hit him again, and he'd shake it off like he believed the Superman gimmick. Well, I told him I was still going over. It was for the title. I don't know if it was for the title or just build up for the title. And I backed into a corner, and I just stood there, and he hit me. And I just shook it off like never even touched me. And I told him, I said, if you want this match to go, it'll go, but you better sell this. I just took my finger and just poked him in the forehead. And he realized what he had done. He just started flopping around like a fish. After that, we had some good matches.
All right. Did you have any problems with anybody else ever in the ring?
There was one Koko Samao. I had a problem with him when I first got to Blanchard's territory. I was a new baby face, and I was getting a little push from him. And he ended up kicking me in the jaw and broke my jaw. I belted it back to him. I hurt him a little bit, but I was always up and up. And he told me on the mat, he said, we'll finish this outside. I said, no problem. We finished the match. I went across the dressing room and said, let's go outside. I went outside, and he followed me out and stuck a gun in my stomach. Oof. And Bob Sweetan was there watching, and Eric Emery. I ended up being a roommate with Eric Emery after a while, but he was watching, they were laughing. And I told Koko then, I said, you got me. I said, you got me now. Well, they fired him, and he talked to Joe Blanchard, and they put us both in the office. I said, I don't have a problem. I said, if you ever get stiff again or anything, I'm going to end it there. I will never take it outside again. And after that, he was like butter. Had some good matches with him.
TitleMatchNetwork.com